Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. We talk about economics and crypto and lots of other really fun things. As always, a free way you can support this channel. Smash up that like button, leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss a thing. In today's video, I want to talk about the fact, unless you're holding a bunch of meme coins, which now is not the time to be holding meme coins, the fact that you are no longer losing money. I know it still feels like you're losing money, but look at the charts. Looking at almost every altcoin chart since August 5th, they have bottomed out, and very few of them, almost none of them, have put in lower lows than August 5th, at least none of the older ones. And by older, I really do mean like just ones that weren't created this summer. I'm thinking like Ether or something like that. So otherwise, most altcoins, most of your altcoins are not down. And so I really would encourage you to get out of this mindset, because I think it can help you if you have been sitting on the sidelines to just have a proper mindset of we're not losing money anymore. And even though it's September, I know Bitcoin's down a little bit in September, but I'm talking about in the last month and a half, a little less than a month and a half since August 5th, your altcoins are up. And Bitcoin is up since August 5th. And the chances of Bitcoin going down to $45,000, or some are calling for lower than that, they're actually quite low. And I know most of the time we do sweep those liquidation lows, but if you're waiting for that moment, I'm afraid to say that you're probably going to get left behind. You might get left behind. There's a good chance you're going to get left behind. And so if I had $10,000 right now, between now and the end of the month, I'd probably put like $8,000 in. And let me tell you something. If we get to the end of the month and we don't sweep those liquidation lows, it's not happening. Now, I do want to kind of give a forecast in this video as to what I think is going to happen. So we had the presidential debate 2 nights ago. During that debate, I said on my live stream, and I do believe this to be true, that the general public, because they're dumb, they think Kamala Harris won. And actually, no, let me back up on that. Kamala Harris won that debate, but the odds were stacked very much in her favor. And the thing that I would say the general public is not wise to is how the odds were stacked in her favor. The fact that the moderators were on her side and were not hiding that at all, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I don't care about that. We are going to do well. We're going to make money. Whoever becomes president, it's all, I wouldn't say it's a distraction. We will make more money short term if Donald Trump becomes president. But I want to talk about a few things leading up to the election and then after the election in terms of crypto holdings, because I have been getting many questions asking if I think there's going to be a big sell-off on November 5th if Kamala Harris wins. So let's look through several different scenarios. First of all, the rate cut, the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting. We are right now at an 85% chance that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates by 25 basis points. I'm quite convinced it's going to be 25. I never really actually believed it was going to be 50, except for maybe that day of August 5th when they were projecting possibly a 75 basis point rate cut. But that was an extreme day. It was a day where the VIX went like crazy and then it went right back down. And so that's beyond us. And 25 basis point rate cut is most likely. If it's only a 25 basis point rate cut, and then the Bank of Japan does not lower rates, they're not going to raise rates, but there's a possibility that they would lower rates. But the next day, the Bank of Japan is meeting, and they are most likely not going to, they are definitely going to not raise rates. The question is, are they going to lower rates? So let's just say 25 basis point rate cut, the Bank of Japan does not lower rates. And the Federal Reserve is still in their $25 billion a month tightening, and they don't put an end to that. So that's a lot of different scenarios. But let's just say that's, I think what I would say is the worst case scenario, worst case as far as our short-term holdings. What I believe the market is pricing in right now is a 25 basis point rate cut. But if it's only that and nothing else happens with quantitative tightening or the Bank of Japan, I would expect some kind of a sell-off. A little sell-off, not a huge sell-off. We're not, at this point, it doesn't seem at least, gearing up for a buy the rumor, sell the news event. But we've seen this pattern, especially in September, of any kind of news dropping being a sell-off. And so my anticipation is September 18th, they cut rates by 25 basis points. I don't know whether they're going to put an end to quantitative tightening, but let's say they don't put an end to quantitative tightening, then, in my opinion, we'll see a little bit of a dip, but then we're going to close the month somewhere in the 50s, upper 50s, in my opinion. A small drop, just like we normally have with Bitcoin, less than a 10% drop from the monthly open to the monthly close. No matter what happens, October should be a very bullish month. But then what about November? Because I've been getting a lot of questions, like I already said, about November 5th. People are getting a little bit nervous that if Kamala wins, that we're going to see this big dump. Well, here's my opinion. I think the market is pricing in a Kamala win. And so what happens if Kamala wins? Well, possibly a dump, just like there's always the possibility of a dump, but this is November when things should be more bullish, when Bitcoin should be higher than where it is right now, possibly a little bit of a sell-off, but I believe that after that little bit of a sell-off, we'll continue to climb again, that Bitcoin, altcoins will continue to climb. So October, no matter what, good month. I'm not selling anything. It depends on where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin were to go to $80,000 and then we saw altcoins make significant moves, especially if meme coins made significant moves, I would sell some, but otherwise I'm probably just going to be holding in October. And then I do believe that November of this year will also be a bullish month, and December will also be a bullish month. Now, we have Donald Trump. He is right now, after the debate, he was a little bit up when it came to odds, when it came to pre-debate, the odds of him winning. It's pretty much 50-50. And after the debate, it's still pretty much 50-50 as to who's going to win. Pennsylvania is a huge state. The polls have always skewed left. I remember in 2016, Hillary Clinton, it was an 85% chance, maybe even more than that, according to some people, that she was going to win. The polls had her up about 4%, especially in key swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and then Trump ended up winning all of those states just barely. And right now, Kamala is up by much less than, and then of course Trump ended up winning. Kamala is up by much less than 4% in those three states. She only won Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, Biden only won Wisconsin and Pennsylvania by like 50,000 votes, 50 to 70,000 votes in each state in 2020. Trump ended up winning in 2016. The polls showed that Biden was up by a lot more than Trump was, than Hillary was in 2020. I am one of those rare people, I suppose, who thinks that Biden won legitimately. Was there some nefarious things going on? I don't know, but I am quite convinced that Biden won legitimately in 2020. But when everything came out, it was showing a much closer gap than what the polls were showing. And so now Kamala's up by less than 1% in several key swing states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And I tend to wonder, is it the same thing this time around where Trump would win by 3 or 4% in those states? And so I don't care nearly as much as what it may sound like, but here's the thing that happened when Trump won in 2016. That was such a surprise that the stock market roared after that the next day. And so what happens in 2024 if Trump wins? The market is not pricing in a Trump win. And if he wins, I'm bullish. If he loses, if he wins, that'll provide a significant pop, especially with altcoins, I think. So whatever the case, I want to lay my cards out on the table right now. I am bullish for November. And then after that, we'll see. I've been saying 2 to 4 months after the first rate cuts. 2 months would be November 18th. That's 2 weeks after the election when I would be looking to exit. I'm going to let the market lead me. 4 months would be January of 2025. I would love it if we could extend some kind of a run into 2025. And I do think no matter what, that meme coins will pump hard in early 2025. But as of right now, that is my mindset. And as always, that can change. With new information, that could change. And so October is a key month. Let's see what happens in October. But anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.